Are you an overly independent person? Do you tend to do everything yourself? Do you like to be in control? Do you dislike asking others for help? For us women especially, we've had to take on a masculine role in our lives. So in order to fit in, in order to fit into this corporate world, to this patriarchal society, in order to actually succeed. And also, the men have been, led to take on toxic masculine energy in order to fit in. So we were living in this world of women being in their masculine energy because they don't feel safe, and men being in their toxic masculine energy because they don't want to show their femininity. And this is the thing. We all have a balance of masculine and feminine energy. And oftentimes, because of society, because of our environment, one or the other gets stronger and it becomes imbalanced. So a lot of the times women have to take on extra masculine energy, and a lot of the times men are suppressing their feminine energy. And this is the thing. We need both. We need both in order to be able to feel safe, both men and women. We need to have that balance in order to actually live peacefully and live genuinely, live safely. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach and I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse. With us women especially, we have grown up in a world where we've been put against each other, pitted against each other, put into competition against each other. We've developed this inner misogyny because of this patriarchal society. I grew up in a masculine household, which I now say is a toxic masculine household. And I inherited toxic masculine traits. I lived in my masculine energy for a long, long time. And what I've discovered is the reason I did that was because I didn't feel safe. And this is the thing, a lot of the times we have to adopt that masculine energy to get ahead in business, to succeed, to be independent, to be in control of our lives. This is for women. But I've come to understand that a lot of the times us women have to maintain this masculine persona in order to feel safe. Because the men that we have had in our lives have had too much masculinity, toxic masculinity. And when we're surrounded by toxic masculinity, we don't feel safe. And this is the thing, and then men are suppressing their femininity because they don't feel safe. If they allow themselves to be emotional, they're going to be ridiculed. They're going to be persecuted. They're going to be shunned. So how are we supposed to have balance if the women are masculine and the men are toxic? Now, I'm not saying all men are toxic. And when I say toxic masculinity, what I mean by that is too much masculinity. I am man. I have no emotions. I build fire. That's all I do. I protect. I have a club and I'm going to fight saber-toothed tiger. We don't need this anymore. This is toxic. When you go into toxic masculinity, that's aggression, that's anger, that's sexism. I used to have toxic masculine traits because I grew up surrounded by men. And this is the thing, and I used to get very triggered by this. Sigmund Freud mentions penis envy, right? So he describes that when women are young, they have penis envy. And I used to get very triggered by this. I was like, fuck off, I don't want to fucking have a penis. But in actual fact, I understand it now. Now, I didn't sit there as a child and say I want Willie. I didn't. I was a young child and I was just looking at another, my brother. We were both children. And as a young child in a masculine household, I was like, why don't I have one of those? Why am I different? You know what I mean? And that was what it was. And I only discovered this in the last couple of years. That technically, I aspired to be a man because my role models were male. It was my dad and my brother. My mother wasn't around. So therefore, I was trying to fit into this world of masculinity. And how did I do that? I took on a masculine role. I became a tomboy. I fit in with the boys. I had mainly male friends. And I worked with my dad doing timber flooring, doing tiling, doing handyman work, all that kind of stuff. I took on that role. And what I've noticed as well is in relationship, I had 2 toxic relationships in my 20s. And in both of those relationships, I felt very masculine. Because my partners just weren't, they didn't make me feel safe. And that's what it was. I didn't understand that, but it's because I didn't feel safe. I couldn't be in my feminine energy because I didn't feel safe. This is it. Like, us women have to be masculine because we're scared. We're scared to be in our feminine energy because we're afraid of how we're going to be treated. And this is it. When it comes to work, women can't be in their feminine energy because oh my God, sorry, this triggers me, how women were treated for fucking generations and still treated in certain jobs. Like, I worked in masculine roles. I was in a factory work doing manual heavy lifting. I was better than any fucking man at it. I became a fucking supervisor. Do you know what I mean? Because I fit into that role. But, I probably would have been looked at, and I was looked at as if, what the fuck is she doing here? But then they saw that I could actually do the job. Do you know, that kind of way? Whereas in other situations, a lot of the time, the woman has to sleep with management to get to a certain role. That's not fair either, but people still fucking do it. Because women are treated like, you're not good enough for this unless you do something for me. This is where we've been living. And then women are pitted against each other. We develop this inner misogyny. And I used to have it. I had toxic masculinity. I had inner misogyny. I actually turned around when I was working in that masculine role. One of the men said, just compared me to one of the women. And at the time, I was very toxic. And I turned around and goes, don't you ever call me a woman again. What? I was that misogynistic towards myself and other women. I was disrespectful to myself and other women. Now, as I've gotten older, and not even as I've gotten older, as I've awakened to my spiritual journey, my inner child has been healed and I'm back in my feminine energy. But it's because I'm starting to feel safe. And this is the thing that I didn't even discover. Us women only can feel feminine when we feel safe. Now, I'm not, like, I'm adamant that we should all be independent. I'm adamant that women do not need to be protected by a man financially or physically or otherwise. Well, spiritually we do. And that's the thing. To be in a relationship, now this is not just about relationship, but to be in an environment where you feel safe enough to be feminine, that's kind of magical. Because when I look back and I spent my whole life trying to be a man to fit into this world, that's toxic. No, and that's the thing. I became a toxic masculine because I was so imbalanced. We need to have an even balance. And when it comes to men need to be in their feminine energy as well. This is the thing, saying you're in feminine energy doesn't mean you're a girly girl. If you're saying a man is in his feminine energy, what you're actually saying is the man is receptive. He's listening. He's compassionate. He's caring. He's not afraid to show his emotions. That's balanced masculine and feminine energy. When we have a balance of both, for women, we have the masculine energy for the doing, for the productivity, for our work, for business. And we have our feminine role for our caring, compassionate side, for our loving nature. To be receptive towards love as well. And this can, as I said, this can become imbalanced. And for so many years, I was so in my masculine energy. And for a man to not be in his feminine energy means that he's going to be angry, aggressive, emotionless. And like, it's only in the last few years that, like, and I'll describe this as well. Like, when I was with men in the past, as in my two exes, I didn't feel safe. So I maintained my masculine energy. I still felt macho in myself. I still hung around with boys. I didn't feel like a girly girl. I very rarely wore makeup. And then I met a few friends that did wear makeup, and it actually brought out my femininity more, which I loved. And I started to wear makeup just that little bit more. But I used to say I don't like makeup because I'm not like those other girls, or I'm not a girly girl, or I just didn't do makeup, like, because I was this is how masculine I used to be. I didn't have a handbag. I used to go out to the clubs and I'd have a box of fags in one pocket, phone in the other pocket, my keys in my arse pocket, and my money in my bra. Didn't have a fucking handbag. Do you know, because it was just like, I'm not a girl energy. Like, come on. Now I just love embracing my femininity. I love putting on makeup. Not all the time because I'm fucking lazy. I'll put on a bit of mascara, like. And I think it's lovely to keep your skin clear anyway, but just a bit of mascara and colouring the eyebrows so you look alive kind of thing. But I love, you know, wearing girl clothes now. Like, I lived in black clothes. Like, this is another thing. When I was a teenager, my female friends were like, you can't like pink anymore, it's too childish. So I was like, okay. So then I became a goth. And I went from pink to black. And everything I had was black. But I changed the status quo though. For my Debs, I had a massive Barbie pink Debs dress. It was awesome. Really weird though, because I used to wear my Linkin Park hoodie in school, and then I'd come to the Debs with this pink dress. But anyway, this is it. I wore all black clothes. All the time. My wardrobe, like I turned around one day and I was like, I must label my clothes, because I was looking into my wardrobe, and all my black tops and all my black leggings, it was just like, which is which? They're all the fucking same. I remember I had to wear like these turquoise leggings one time and this flowery top. My clothes got wet. And I looked in the mirror and I looked lovely, but I was like, ew, girly clothes, no way. Now, my house is covered in pink stuff. I have pink dressing gown, pink slippers, pink cat bowl, pink everything. And I'm like, okay, not only am I coming into my feminine energy, I'm also bringing my inner child out to play. So I'm not afraid to like pink anymore, you know? And this is another thing. Like, as I said, I didn't feel safe in relationship. And since I met my twin flame, right? Like, not only does he physically make me feel feminine because he's taller. Like, I'm a tall girl, and I've always felt big, broad. I felt masculine, like, in a sense. I never felt petite. That's the thing. And, you know, it's very hard to feel feminine when you don't feel petite. But my twin flame actually makes me feel safe, and he actually makes me feel petite. And that's just physically, he makes me feel safe. So that allows me to be in my feminine energy. So that's another thing. When we're surrounded by healthy masculine men, we can feel safe in our femininity. And not only does he make me feel safe physically, he makes me feel safe on an emotional level. He listens. You know, he's caring, he's compassionate. Now that's when he's with me. I actually was reminded of this morning. Because with the twin flame journey, the main objective, a lot of the time, the male has to release a lot of toxic masculine traits. You know, they're in this toxic masculine environment, and it's like, I am man, I build fire, I don't have fucking emotions. We can build our own fire, but we only want you to do is show your emotions. You know what I mean? A healthy masculine who is in his masculine feminine energy can be both emotional and, you know, masculine. Can be both caring and providing. And that's it. When I'm with my twin flame, he makes me feel safe, both emotionally and physically. And I remember when we were in this separation period at one stage, and he hadn't texted for a while, and he came back and I was like, oh, I thought you weren't interested anymore. And he's like, this is so funny. This really triggered me at the time, but this came into my head this morning and I think it's hilarious. He said, I am interested. You're an interesting person. And I was really triggered by that. I was like, that's not a compliment. And I realized this morning that was him back in his masculine energy. I have no emotion, but yeah, you're an interesting person, but I don't have emotions towards you. You're just interesting. And I was just like, when that came to me this morning, I just laughed. And that's proof of the difference between being in his balanced energy and being back in his masculine energy. You know, being caring and receptive to going, I am man, I have fires. You know, this kind of shit, like. And I just think it's hilarious. But this is the whole objective I'm trying to point out. Us women have become masculine because we don't feel safe. Because we're surrounded by toxic masculinity. We only feel safe when a man is emotional. And I know that sounds weird. What I mean by that is when a man is open enough to own his energy, both masculine and feminine, when he's open enough to own his emotions, to be intelligent enough to face his emotions, to do that healing, that's how we feel safe. That's when us women can come back into our feminine energy. You know, that's for me anyway. And I'm not sure about anyone else. I just wanted to share from my perspective. Like, this is the thing. For 36 fucking years of my life, I was in my masculine energy because I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe with the people I had in my environment. I didn't feel safe in this world. I didn't feel safe to let my guard down. You know, and now I'm starting to, because I'm healing, but also because I found a masculine that makes me feel safe, makes me feel like a woman. And that's it. Like for somebody who's been a tomboy most of her life, who's only coming into her feminine energy now, I have never ever felt like a woman in relationship. Because obviously I attracted narcissists anyway, and they make you turn you into a childlike codependent version of yourself. So you can never own your femininity then, because you're literally powerless. But when you actually find somebody who makes you feel safe as well as feminine, that's it. You need to feel safe to be feminine. And that's the thing with men as well. Men obviously need to feel safe to be in their balanced energy, because it's the toxic masculine environment and the world that we're in that makes us feel unsafe to be in balanced energy. Tells us that we can't do it this way, that we have to do it this way. Tells men that they can't be emotional, that they have to be emotionless. That's disgusting. Us women are not attracted to that anymore. The more a man closes off, the more unattractive he is. The more a man is open, the more a man is receptive, the more a man is caring, the more a man is gentle. This helps us women be in our feminine energy. So, you know, a lot of the time men are in this energy because they need to be in control. You're not going to be in control in a relationship if you're in your macho energy, because the woman is going to have her guard up and she's going to want to be fucking protected. And emotionally. And if don't feel safe enough to be protected by someone else, I'm going to put up that fucking wall and I'm going to masculine the shit out of it myself and protect myself. So we need more men to let their guard down so us women can let our guards down. We need more men to feel safe in themselves so that we can feel safe in ourselves. And that's what it all comes down to. Feeling safe enough to be in a balanced energy. Feeling safe enough to own both our masculine and feminine sides. Feeling safe enough to be who we truly are, but just feeling safe enough to own our femininity. Now that's for both men and women. We should both feel safe enough within this world to own every aspect of our personality, to own every aspect of our energies. So us ladies need to come back into our femininity, understand that it is safe to be a woman. Again, I hope it is. I haven't left the house much, so I don't really know. Sorry, the world is a dangerous place for us women, actually. It still is. But, you know, it's safe enough in our healing to become feminine again, to embrace our femininity, you know, to be in our girly energy if we want to. And a man should feel safe enough to be vulnerable in front of a woman, because that's what makes us feel safe. Vulnerability in relationship is what makes us feel safe enough to be in our feminine energy. So yes, for once in my whole existence of 36 years, I feel like a fucking woman, and it's fucking fantastic, and I love it. And a lot of my support system now are my sisterhood and my women, and I'm so happy with that. Things have changed. I no longer hold that inner misogyny. I no longer hold that external misogyny. I am in my feminine energy. I'm in my balanced energy, and I love it. I love pink. I love being a girl, and I love feeling feminine. Oh my God, I love it. Because I was such an abrupt, aggressive kind of energy from the environments I've been in. You know, so, just rushing around all the time, so fast-paced, so masculine. And now I'm just laid back, just chillaxed. I'm balanced in both. I get to be a girl. I get to be in my masculine energy as well if I want, because both are beautiful. I love both sides now. But I love the fact that I feel safe enough to be a woman. And that's what it is. It's feeling safe enough in this world to own my femininity. So I hope you can do the same, both male and female. I hope you can all be safe enough to come into your balanced masculine and feminine energy. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help you on your path.